All right. Episode 13.
14.
Episode 14 of Ink Deals. We've been doing so many of these episodes, I forget what episode.
I correct you on like at the start of every episode.
Because we're so busy in real estate. We've got so many followers that we just forget what episode we're on.
Could be that.
You know,
can't count, whatever.
Funny fact. I was in the gym this morning and I hit PRs. 380. When was the last time you benched 380? Or sorry, 280, Brandon.
I was going to say, I was like, there's no way your body's holding up 380.
280. I counted it. And I'm not the best at math, but I'm near certain it was 280.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
So before you had your kids, I mean, you used to be in pretty good shape, right?
Keep saying kids like I have multiple.
Oh, man. So, today's episode, we have a guest speaker, Jeffrey Marshall.
Welcome.
The man, the myth, the legend.
Nice to have you.
Yeah, a little background on Jeffrey and I. I met him at my fighting gym. He's, a jack of all trades. He's lived quite the mysterious, unique life thus far. Yeah. And, we're happy to have you, man. So tell us, intro. Who are you? What do you do? Why are you here?
Oh, shoot, man. I, like you said, a jack of all trades.
Mm-hmm.
Been in the industry I work in for about 30 years, but never did the college thing. Sort of just worked my ass all the way through the ranks. A lot of work ethic, building myself up. Had a lot of new responsibilities at an early age in my life. 4 kids.
That'll do it.
4 kids.
Brandon has one.
Yeah, I had one young, and I'm like, woo.
He's got more gray hairs than I know. Yeah. One kid. Jesus.
Yeah, so, I took on that responsibility and, trial and tribulations of that life as a father, somebody that's building myself up through my career. Unfortunately, a couple tragedies happened in my life through that process, losing a son, and other things, So, and going through those moments, your kids go through those moments as well, right? So going through divorce and then becoming a single parent, and you have to go through those trial and tribulations with your kids, right? So you don't want them to fail. You don't want them to make the same choices you made, right?
Yeah. It's like a learning lesson for them at the same time.
Sometimes you're not showing them directly. You're sort of showing with your own actions,
right?
Mm-hmm.
Even if it's a bad choice, right? So even if you made a bad choice as a parent or father, however you want to look at it, it's like you have to recognize that, take ownership of it, and make sure, if you're teaching your kids or you're teaching an employee or whoever you have in your life, friend, say, hey, these are my good choices. Well, I made some bad ones too.
Yeah.
So you go through those failures to become successful, right? So,
right.
Yeah.
And that almost is a sort of an unnatural leadership that starts evolving within yourself.
Yeah, I mean, that's part of being a leader is having like the experience, good and bad.
Yeah.
So you're saying, you've got 4 kids and every one of them's lived or is embarking on a unique journey in their life. One's a fighter, one's a pro dancer, one's in the armed forces. I mean, what don't they do? Are any of these kids just normal, real estate agents or normal lenders like Brandon over here?
I guess not.
Besides being superstars, I mean, what do they do, man?
Yeah, so, a lot of them sort of became independent on themselves, with themselves, and seeing me and probably seeing their mom and those situations of growth.
Wow.
And so they had to take on their own path, lack of a better term, and then build off of that. So being my oldest son, being 31, going junior college and transferring to San Francisco State, and then the last year of his college years, he was in Sweden, and then traveling the whole country, then being the b-boy dancer that he is, and then growing off of that, and then still doing that, and then mentoring young kids himself, and showing, his brother and sisters and what he's all about. And then, with my youngest son, they're the brother, big brother, little brother, mentorship thing going on. But he's doing his thing, going to Long Beach State and junior college. But he's a fighter, he fights out of different locations. Started out Temecula Boxing Club and then went to a couple of locations. He went up to the Bay for a little bit. and trained out of Oakland Boxing Club while he was going to school up there. He went to San Francisco State for a minute, and you know, it's a little crazy up there right now.
Yeah.
Especially as a fighter.
Yeah.
Yeah. I gotta ask, man. So Beat Boy, are these the guys that spin on their head, like the ones you see that like, throw out cardboard boxes and they do that whole deal?
Yeah.
Is that what it's about?
He's still training right now. He trains in my garage.
shit.
You know, I'm 31, but you know, he's like, I'm sure you guys are the same. You know, somebody tells you to stop doing something, you know, you don't listen.
Hell no. He told me to stop and go twice as hard. Yeah.
You know, you're boxing and, you know, doing your thing. I'm doing my thing. You're doing your thing. And so some of his injuries are all to his right because all his moves are to his right.
Yeah.
So he has to,
Got it.
he has
Okay.
to stretch every day. He has to go through all that process, you know.
Right.
Wow.
And,
Man. That's wild.
Yeah, away from my boys to my daughters, you know, I got,
Okay.
I'm a grandparent, man. So,
Again, jack of all trades.
Yeah.
yeah. So, I mean, they, unfortunately, you know, their father's not in their lives. So I act as that sort of
Kind of, yeah.
you know, and,
Yeah.
That example.
supporting my daughter and her going through her trials and tribulations of life.
Hey.
And then my youngest daughter, is Navy, Japan, cybersecurity, E5. So
She's got top like secret clearance, huh?
yeah.
Yeah. Like
So
James,
that's-
James Bond type shit. That's
All right, we can't talk about that.
yeah.
So well, I
Can you
like
kill us or are we gonna talk about it? What's going on here? You can't tell us.
so each of my kids are all independent in their own way.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
they're not one
completely
the same,
different
so-
paths too. Like neither of them followed necessarily the path of their other siblings,
Yeah.
but
And I think that's good in these kind of group sessions and these podcasts. You know, you bring people in that necessarily we're not all the same.
Yeah.
Right? We all come from somewhere different. I grew up in Seattle, Washington. My dad was in the Coast Guard. You know, my mom's from NorCal. My
Dang.
dad's retired in Florida. You know,
Yeah.
You know, everybody has their own thing going on. So
How do you? I personally am big on mentorship. I've mentored individuals. I am mentoring individuals, and you know we have setbacks from time to time where they go through a growth phase, or you know the market goes to shit or whatever, and they're not busy for a month or two, and it's like, how do you? When your kids go through that, whether it's, you know, the fighting or the dancing, how do you help them kind of get through those hurdles and be like, it's going to be okay? Maybe not knowing anything about dancing.
you have to almost let them make the choices that they make.
Yeah.
And sort of guide
yeah,
them when they come out of it. So I mean, my boys are pretty mellow, yeah. But when it comes down to them wanting to achieve a certain goal or go after a certain thing, I sort of just nudge them a little bit. You know,
Yeah.
it's like
right. Be that
well,
encouragement.
you want them to fail in some aspects.
Yeah.
You all have to go through that failure
Yeah.
to succeed, right?
Yeah, we've been good at that at times.
And so,
I'm good at
You
that
know,
every single day. I cry myself to sleep every day.
We keep going.
Yeah.
We keep going.
I mean, you're
And
talking
I'm
to
still
somebody.
here.
Yeah, exactly. You're talking to me that's failed. I failed on a couple different things in my life, and I had to push through those moments to come out of it, succeed, and become more who I am today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's constantly evolving, you know.
Right.
So
Right.
That makes sense. What about you, Brandon? I know your kid's a high-level hockey player. He loves it. He's probably going to the NHL. I don't know if he'll be Wayne Gretzky,
No.
but, you know,
Yeah.
what do you do when he's like, Dad, I don't want to play hockey today, or I missed the goal? Like, is this my fault? Like,
He's literally never said that. I've asked a million times.
really?
So you sure you want to keep
he's
going? You
that
sure you?
good?
He's just that committed.
His
Like,
mindset is just,
yeah,
he's like,
right
I'm
now.
gonna play hockey.
But he's just about to be 14, so
Yeah.
you know, as he can probably attest to, like that's probably coming.
Interesting.
Girls, you know, high
But what it-
school.
What if he just quits hockey and he's like, I like this chick, I'm moving to Japan and we're getting married and that's it, and he never wants to play again? Are you gonna be sad? Is Brandon gonna cry?
No, but I'll be like, really? That's a lot of time and effort that we put into
Well,
this,
money
buddy.
that you-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll make sure to remind him of that. I mean, I still do, but yeah, he'll choose his own path for sure. He'll turn out all right, but
Yeah.
yeah, and
Interesting.
he can really take it wherever he wants at this point. So it's really kind of up to him. And yeah, he just had a meeting with his coach last week.
Yeah.
About that, like where do you want to go, and like
What's the
the
next step?
commitment that he needs to put into training and all that stuff away from the rink.
Is there a chance that he would be like homeschooled or go to like some weird charter school or something that's like hockey centric?
No, yeah, maybe like a prep school in a couple years. We'll see. But yeah,
Better sell some more loans, Brandon.
right? Got to be doing a lot more loans if he's doing that.
raising a kid now.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't envy that at all. I'm glad I raised my.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
Hey, you're screwed.
Full disclaimer: I'm not raising a kid yet. Okay.
Yeah, you
but
got to get
I
a
do.
you got to get a girl to like you first.
Yeah, with all the iPads and everything going on. It's crazy.
Yeah, it is. It
Do
is.
you-
All the way too much access.
How do you guys, for young men out there, myself included, who are approaching maturity age for having children?
Approaching maturity
age for having children is how I'm going to phrase it.
You're like,
What
what, late
advice-
30s now?
Yeah, 36. What advice do you give someone to me who, is getting to that age where, hey, if we're in a serious relationship, kids are the next step, right? I mean, what advice do you guys have? You're both fathers. Like, do you think things are just fucked and, like, I'm going to have to just figure it out and wing it? Or are there certain steps that you'd be like, hey, make sure you do this, this, and this, and the rest might be a little bit easy for you? Like, what are, like, the top 2 or 3 things that you would recommend?
Oh, you go first.
First thing I would say is get a journal, get all your thoughts out on paper.
Okay.
Start creating your goals and building off those goals. Your
Interesting.
daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, yearly goals. And that's going to help you push yourself along to where you need to be in the path you want to go down. And as far as, raising kids and going through those motions is just, they say, read, go to parenting classes, all that stuff I didn't do.
Yeah.
But you just have to.
School of Hard Knocks.
Yeah.
Instinctual.
I think it's a lot. It comes from intuitions and how you're raised, and then, if you're raised wrong, then you find ways to be a better man or better human.
Right. Pass that on.
Pass it along. I'm not saying I definitely went through we all have our childhood, right?
Yeah.
So we all go through that moment. So
Yeah.
do you necessarily want to raise your kids that way, or maybe you do. Maybe you were raised perfectly, and that's the path you want to go down, or you find other paths. You learn from younger,
Always.
older, the good and the bad.
Yeah.
That's how we all evolve, right?
Yeah. I think maybe, like you were mentioning, to piggyback off of it, people will look at how they were raised by their parents and maybe try to emulate it or put it into play and be like, this is how I think I should raise my kid.
Yeah. Or take the best parts of it, at least.
And if they were raised like shit, then they got to figure out a way to, like,
I know what
circumvent
not
that
to
or
do.
move around
Yeah.
it. Don't kick the
essentially.
dog or, smack my kid or whatever. So
Yeah.
what about you, Brandon? What would you say?
Yeah, no, I love the
Very
list. I
similar
love
thoughts?
the goal
Yeah.
making. And then obviously, as I learned at a young age is, probably was, started too young, maybe.
Yeah.
But luckily everything's worked out and like it's been a blessing. But I think in your shoes, like one of the best things you can do is really focus on like a good partner. See if you guys have future
Your
goals,
relationship?
healthy relationships. You might need a dictionary, look up the word healthy.
I'm going to have different ideas of what's healthy, Brandon.
Yeah.
You have anybody right now?
No, I mean, for sake of argument, I'm single, I do my thing, but it's like I said, I'm getting to the age of maturity. Yeah, I'm getting to that level where it's like I'm
One
36,
One day.
I'm doing relatively well in my career and life, and it's like that's
I've seen your
theoretically the
I've
next
seen your
step.
dating profiles. There's
Okay, Brandon, is this a show about dating now?
well, you asked the questions.
Yeah, that's very true.
Right?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
very true. We can cut some
We'll,
of this
we'll
shit
cut
out.
that out. All right.
I mean, it's I don't want to be running around single playing the field forever. Like my lineage needs to live on, right?
Yeah.
I need to have a kid with someone because I can't. The bloodline can't stop at me, Brandon. We need to figure it out. There has to be another top-notch.
Luckily, you have a brother that's probably
I don't think you can have.
Good uncle.
Yeah. Well, that's nice. I guess I could be an uncle and somehow just.
Yeah.
I could be your kids. Yeah, I could be your kids like mentor and be like, I don't know anything about hockey, but I'm a good uncle. I'm like your uncle figure.
I think 40 would be my cutoff.
You think 40? So I have 4 years. Shit, I have like 3.5 years.
You better buckle down.
I better grind. See this next episode, I have like my chick here. I'm like, yeah, we're getting married.
We already
Accelerating everything. We're married. Yeah. If you see a ring on my finger, people, oof. So well, that's good, man. I think that gives hope. I know you obviously have a son. You have daughters and sons. So, were there things that made you nervous when you knew you were having a daughter? Like, I know how I am single. He knows how he is single. It's like, everyone always asks, like, how do you protect your daughter? And, I don't know.
My daughters are pretty colorful in the sense that
That's a good word. I like that.
I raised them hard. And I want them to have self-defense. I want them to be independent.
Okay.
Again, learning them also teaching themselves through some of the hardships we had to deal with as a family, and
Yeah.
seeing what I had to go through as a single parent and with her mom and this and that after the divorce happens, right?
Yeah.
So that's
Turbulence.
changes the whole game.
Yeah.
And so, and some aspects they have to go through their own learning process through that,
Yeah.
and seeing mom and dad going through what we're going through. So
Yeah.
unfortunately, that was part of the cards that were dealt with my family. So, with that said, they're very strong, independent women, and if I get nervous, I'm probably more nervous for their boyfriend. No, but
Fair.
they had to go through their moments in their life, and my daughter Victoria, she's a very educated woman. She knows what she wants.
Yeah.
She's
Has it all laid out on the table. That's good, man.
my boys are there. My daughter, two little ones, she's going through those processes of a single mom. So,
Yeah.
like I said earlier, it's all their own independent thinking, their own independent lives. And you just have to, I feel like I'm more of a parent now.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
also-
You're not
I miss
changing
the-
diapers, but you're.
Yeah, I do miss the youth. I do
Yeah.
miss the sports and going through those mommy, daddy kind of
Yeah.
moments that, that you're there for your little one. But I realize that in my position now as a parent, they want you to listen. You just take it all in. And Dad, I think I was having a conversation with my daughter Victoria on the FaceTime. She's in Japan, and we're just going over cybersecurity and what I do in technology and the things that we do and infrastructure wise with RF and fiber and data centers and everything else that technology wise. That's a whole different podcast. She wants to know how I grew in that with really no college education at all. So
right.
it was all self-taught. Where she's going to college. She has an online college program. She's getting taught in the military.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, Dad knows a couple people in that world. So when you get out,
Yeah, it's a different kind of,
she asked me, well, I don't need to do any of that now. Yeah, you do. You're not getting out for another 3 years, but you start networking now.
Yeah.
And those 3 years are up.
You're just ready to hit the ground running.
Hit the ground running.
That's smart.
Don't wait. Because
you've already developed relationships.
Evolve.
Yeah.
Your network evolves, right? In anything that we do.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of business owners in a lot of different industries. I know some good ones. I know some bad ones. And it just
happens. Yeah. So you're big on, talking about helping people grow, mentorship, starting businesses, continuing to grow as an individual, both, in business and in life. What is next for you? Like, what is your next venture that you see? I mean, you got into this new company. We had cigars the other night. We're talking about it. Brandon wasn't there because he's not cool. Doesn't smoke cigars either. But nonetheless, you were talking about how you got into this new position, this role at this company. You helped grow them, let's just say 10x for sake of argument.
Yeah.
Once you get to a certain level where you've done like as much as you can do for a company or for someone, like what's next for you? Start your own company? Yeah. What do you do?
Well, in my world, not necessarily investment, real estate world, you go through your ranks. I was a technician on the freeway making $12 an hour. I don't make that anymore. But, I went through that whole process.
He's super humble. He makes it. Most humble guy. Yeah,
that's good.
So I went that whole process of growth from technician to foreman to field supervisor to office administrative staff, project management coordination, and then into operations. And then, so I became, and all through my work ethic, all through my knowledge and learning around people.
Yeah, putting the work in and learning.
So, as a young leader and a young entrepreneur, a friend of mine called me an entrepreneur. I don't own a company, but I help a company grow.
Yeah.
So I'm an
good.
entrepreneur.
Never heard that terminology before.
Yeah,
I like it.
but-
Makes
and
sense.
so
Coin it.
I'm not the entrepreneur of the owner, but I'm the entrepreneur in the sense of helping the company growth. And so I
Right.
sort of just been that. And I heard that like in the last year. Sushi lives over by us. And I was like, man, that's exactly who I've been. And, through my entire career, just helping the company grow and creating those connections.
There's value in that.
From Washington
Yeah.
Mutual to Chase Bank to Microsoft to Boeing, Nestle, those kind of clients that I've dealt with my entire career, traveling the U.S.
Fortune 500 guys, essentially.
Yeah,
The top of the top.
So, I don't mean to drag out my answer to you, but basically my answer, I'm the vice president of a company, is to be more embedded with that company I'm with.
Yeah.
Either
Yeah.
as a partner or into something of my own.
Yeah. Because there's no limit on the growth.
Are
of the company.
you, Brandon and I, we were self-employed, feast or famine. If we don't work, we don't eat, whatever it is. Are you ever nervous when you work more in the corporate setting that if shit hits the fan or if, they want to hire someone who's younger who will take half the pay or whatever, are you ever nervous that you're going to be out there running it again, trying to find something else to do?
That's a great question. I got that. Somebody asked me, are you nervous on the way to this podcast? And I'm like going,
Because our billions of listeners out there.
all right.
Yeah,
So-
working on it.
Yeah, working on it.
I'm like, honestly, man, me personally, I used to get nervous. I used to get that stage fright thing.
Yeah.
It's
I just don't get nervous for anything anymore. I just go after it. Just go after it.
impressive.
I think it's just, if you want it, you envision it, and get it.
Yeah.
Do you want that car? I want that truck. Whatever
wanted
you
the car, I
want.
got it. What's next?
You
Want to have
just,
that kid? I'm looking.
Yeah. Now you're talking. Now you better start saving. Yeah.
so
You don't want to look at that cost.
I think that whole laws of attraction and is real. I think you just focus on things that you want in life. You have to work hard at it. It doesn't fall in your lap.
Yeah.
You know, people say, "Oh, you're conceited, you're cocky," saying that. It's like, no, I'm a calm with my motherfucker.
Yeah.
It's like,
Well, that's when you know that you get what you deserve because you put the work in for it.
Yeah.
You didn't just wake up one day and it was there.
yeah.
I think that's a big difference with being cocky versus confidence. Like,
Well,
you're
I think
confident because
Society,
you know.
is more on the cocky side right now. 'Cause,
Yeah.
you got these young guys, getting to
TikTok money,
Yeah.
YouTube money,
stuff like that.
podcast money.
Yeah.
You basically, it just comes down to getting to about raising the kids and all that. There's so
Yeah.
many kids out there right now that are trying to find that career, trying to find that niche, but a lot of them, they get into what industry they're in and they want to make a million right now.
Yeah.
Today.
Yeah.
They don't want to work hard at it.
Yeah.
And they just expect, oh, I know what you know now.
Yeah.
It took me 30 years to know what I know, and they just want to play that role, and then in that sort of society is just just saturated, unthinking people.
Yeah.
In that world. I mean, I don't know if you guys agree with me or not.
100%.
I mean, I think that there's just too many young people out there that watch too much social media, that are too engaged in kind of get rich quick type schemes where, they think if I just put in a year or maybe 2 years max, I can be the VP or I can get to the top. And it's like, I grew up blue collar. I worked construction for 10 plus years before I got into real estate. Like, I was a day laborer. I did shit making $9, $10, $12 an hour, building houses, carrying concrete around and shit. Like, that's hard labor. And I firmly believe that our generation, like your son, they'll never know that. Like, they'll never experience that type of physical labor because things are so technology driven. And I think that's good and bad because I think the technology kind of promotes and makes them feel like they can make more money more money in a quicker fashion.
Yeah. I mean, it's been proven that, with technology comes that ability to make money faster, especially if you're on the cutting edge of something.
Yeah.
But it's also, I think, recently kind of drawn more to light that, like, the trades are in a higher demand. Maybe college isn't for everyone.
Yeah.
And there's plumbers, electricians, like you can make bank.
Well,
You're-
also with AI right around the corner, I mean, half these jobs are going to be automated anyway. So
Yeah,
it's
but
like
AI is
you
not
need
going
a
to fix your
skill-
pipes.
You need a skill, or
Yeah.
you need some sort of, I'd say in our thing, relationship driven business where, people are like, I'm not going to buy a house with a robot, or sell a house or do a loan. Like when you're at that high level of a relationship building, career,
Yeah.
you can't automate it. I don't think you can. I don't think AI is that
You can
technically
automate the
advanced yet.
processes, but you
process,
can't
but
take
not the
the
not
person
the-
out of some of them.
Yeah, once we, let's say we meet a client, you for example, it's like you get to know me, you know that I'm about the same stuff you're about, we connect, whatever. Then certain things can be automated because you already trust me, right? But building that trust, I don't think you could ever build trust with an AI robot. I mean, unless they're flipping burgers or something, and I'm like, oh yeah, that guy's probably pretty good. He's a
I
robot.
don't know, one of those guys that builds them, might argue, but yeah, I think you're probably right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think money is a commodity. Money is secondary to what you need in your life, which is happiness, right? So, what I learned is I've had it all, and I lost it all. And it's weird, when I had nothing, I was probably at the happiest because I needed to get out of that hole, and the only way I was going to get out of the hole is go through all my trials and tribulations again to where I'm at now, which I'm a lot better version of myself than I was then.
Right.
And
Nice.
money's great. I want a lot of it. But I think what happens here, like you said, quick, rich schemes and this and that.
Like instant gratification.
Money. I mean, that's what society's telling you. And nobody's really focused on what they need to do for themselves, because they do that self-care, that self-focus. They
Yeah.
do everything to empower themselves. Eventually that money's going to come in a much bigger way, a more healthier way.
Right.
I also think too, though, a lot of the issue with making a substantial amount of money or wanting a substantial amount of money has to do with the cost of living. I mean, I think, living in California, and, the three of us can all attest to this, it's so damn expensive to live here and now they're raising home insurance and freaking auto insurance, all this shit. So it's like, you have to make a certain amount of money in order to live here comfortably and not live paycheck to paycheck. And I'm a firm believer that the cost of living is rising substantially quicker than the average wage or than, the wage. It's not catching up.
100%.
I don't see it catching up anytime soon.
100%.
So I think that physical thing is what also pushes people to feel like entitled or feel like they need to make a certain amount of money. And it's not them, being like, I deserve this or whatever. They're like, shit, I can't eat unless I make this amount of money. Bottom line.
There was just an article a couple weeks ago about like what a poverty wage or low income would be in Los Angeles. Not poverty. Sorry. I think it was like a low wage in LA County, which is, pretty
one of the most
terrible
expensive
to Orange
counties.
County.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's over $100,000. If you're making, it was like 130,000 or under, you're like low income for Los Angeles.
So now you compare that to the rest of the world, and it's like you live in India or Guatemala, so that is you're like billionaire.
You could retire.
You could
in
retire.
some of these places.
So
yeah.
that's why a lot of these people are making, $500,000 or $600,000 here in the States, and then they're moving to Guatemala or freaking Brazil, and they're just retiring. They're like, screw it. I can live off $1,500 a month and live in a mansion and have a Vespa and this, that, and the other. And they're like, I'm not joining the rat race. So I think it's very important to put those two together and understand. I mean, I'm a firm believer that I don't deserve anything that I have. I work for it. And, I want something, like you were saying, I visualize it and I go after it. But I don't ever go into like a deal or go into a conversation thinking like, oh, I deserve this. Like, this is mine. Like, no, you deserve shit. You get out there.
I can't
you work
imagine
hard,
that
you
kind of
get it.
mindset.
You got to keep that mindset because it's what fuels you to continue to drive farther and farther and farther. The second I think you deserve something is when you give up on trying to grow, because you're like, oh, I've worked hard enough, I deserve this now. It's like, no, dude, I don't deserve that car that I bought. I just worked my ass off to get it. It's blue. It's the only thing I care about, and the tax deduction, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
So that's my thought. What are you guys' thoughts on that?
I'm with you 100%. I think now, I think what it's come down to is it's been more obvious with the wealth inequality and the gap from, rich to poor. Yeah, can go into all different ways with that. But I think with the rise of technology, people can see that all over the country. So I think that's where people are chasing the fast money. And that's kind of where that newer mindset has come in, where it's just like, oh, I saw this guy on the internet do this, so I should be able to do it too. And, you know, for some people it works, but it definitely, you see a lot of people are just kind of going after the quick buck.
Yeah.
Rather than laying that foundation, whatever it is they're doing, their knowledge, their relationships, and they're just kind of going from the start to the finish and kind of missing the whole point of the journey and, you know, what it takes to actually become an expert in something or build those relationships and connections, that sort of thing.
What would you say, Jeffrey, to someone coming out of, let's say, college, for example? They have a degree, but they're still not 100% sure what they want to do. What would you advise them? Like if they're lost.
What did he advise his kids? They all took different routes.
Yeah.
Just follow your heart.
I don't believe in the word I can't. Just let that word spread around way too much these days.
Yeah.
You can't do this. You can't do that. That's too expensive. You know, whatever the case may be. And, you know, all my kids have gone to college, and or were in college, and if whatever they decide to do, or you know, my youngest son, my oldest son, San Francisco State. He was an intern for a politician, a Speaker of the House politician, for about 8 months. He wanted to become ambassador, and he went political science degree.
Wild.
Yeah.
He's in accounting, and so. You know, he got to education. He got, you know, maybe one day that's the path he'll go down. But right now he's in accounting, and that's what he's doing. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Not at all.
He's living his life. He's happy. He's doing his b-boy thing.
Yeah.
You know, the income. You know, he's supporting himself and all that. It just you have to find whatever your passion is.
Mm-hmm.
What's your passion?
Yeah.
Believe in your passion. You know, I'm assuming your passion is lending, right?
Like helping people.
Yeah.
So it's really what it comes down to.
You know, it's real estate, but you like motorcycles and this and that. You like doing.
I just like making money, Jeff.
Doing your
Just
thing.
money.
You know, so, you know, I have
Just money.
my passion was become a firefighter. You know, I was a volunteer for a couple of years.
That's sweet.
And
That's pretty cool.
my responsibilities took over my passion. I just had to do what I had to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind
And
of.
then my current career became my passion throughout my career. So I got really good at what I do.
Yeah.
Oh, this is fun.
You basically never work a day in your life then because you love what you
Well,
do.
I'm in the technology world, but I see me more in the team building world
Yeah.
and the leadership world.
Right. You're not
Yeah,
coding
the
or something.
mentorship world.
Yeah.
Is that it's in the technology world and in the career path I take and what we do for the company I work for, but I enjoy helping those around me succeed.
Yeah.
My success isn't my success. My success is their success.
Right. Yeah.
And so that's one. So I think somebody asked me a question a couple years ago. I was like, man, you're doing so well, you're succeeding and this and that. It's like, you know what? My success is all everybody I employed over the years and where they're at.
Yeah.
And they're operation managers, they're project managers, they're business owners. And these are people I've hired at the age of 18, 20 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And they saw me and I brought them on board and they saw my work ethic and what I'm trying to do for myself. And hopefully, you know, and they might have saw others too. You know, I'm not just putting myself on that pedestal. There's plenty of mentors out there that people have for themselves. So but I figured through my golden years of my career, I look at those employees of mine and where they're at, and they're all in leadership positions. They're all doing very well for themselves. So some I don't talk to, some I do. Some are still working for me to this day.
Right.
So
But yeah.
Interesting.
So, yeah, I think as a young kid, you get to find your passion and just go after it.
Yeah. Yeah. I wish I had that direction earlier. You know, but you find your way.
You kind of fall into it, you know. I kind of fell into real estate, and
I
you know,
100% fell into it.
but I think a lot of it has to do with what led up to me getting into it, you know, the construction and various sales jobs. So it kind of all, you know, built, like you said, the foundation for real estate, which in my opinion is like the ultimate type of sales position, right? You're selling and buying people's largest assets and all this. So you need the sales experience to learn how sales work. And then you need, you know, the foundation, in my opinion, of construction to understand how a house is built. You know, it's difficult when you talk to a client and like, you just like, well, I don't know. It's a wall. What is the wall made out of? Is it drywall? Is it stucco? And it's like, you know, in my opinion, I think getting a real estate license should be harder. I think there should be more things you should need to do. Like I'm, you know, very close to getting my broker's license, and there's a bunch of classes we have to take. And these classes are like no joke. They're talking about, you know, the different types of real estate. They're talking about finances in real estate. They're talking about different laws. I mean, things that
more legal and
we did little bits and pieces on them when we got licensed, but it's way more intricate because now you're basically running a brokerage. So I think that it would kind of weed out a lot of people in the industry, and we'd have much more professionalism in the sense that people would be more educated. And it would be, like you said, to be a real estate agent, you'd have to be very passionate, not just, you know, take a weekend course. Because a lot of people get licenses just to save money on purchasing their houses.
yeah,
So
because
it's
they can
like,
pocket the commission.
you know, should that even be allowed? Because that cuts out into our jobs. You know what I mean? I could get my lender's license and do my own loan, I guess, essentially.
It's a little harder than a realtor license.
Yeah, you know, I don't know, I'll waste my time doing that nonsense. Buy that thing cash, baby. So yeah, I mean, it sounds like you've got your hands in a lot of different pots, and I think the mentorship and the team building is extremely important in this day and age, because I don't think we have enough of it. I think we have too many people trying to go solo and just, I don't know, fumble their way through life, if you will, and just kind of put a bad impression on the next generation. Like life's too hard, or it's too hard to make money. But if you really have someone strong behind you, like yourself, for example, you can really educate that individual on it's really not that difficult. Just commit to something. Doesn't matter what it is, just commit to it.
Well,
and
my thing, life is hard.
Yeah. Oh, no shit.
You know, and get it done.
Yeah, that's true.
There's no excuse. There's no bullshit. Just get it done.
Yeah.
You know, there's gonna be people that don't want you to succeed. There's gonna be people that want you to fail. Fuck 'em.
Yeah.
You know, you gotta do what you
way
gotta
to put
do
it.
for yourself. You know.
Yeah.
You know, because at the end of the day, when you're dead, nobody gonna care anyways.
Yeah. I mean, if we can leave this planet with some kind of legacy, if you have a son, you obviously have people who are like me, like, I need to find my legacy. Am I going to be president? Am I going to have kids? Like, we got to have some kind of legacy.
I go for the kids. You're definitely,
so?
you're
No
not presidential.
I mean, it couldn't get worse than what's going on now, but
I mean, I'm sure you want that legacy, right? I mean, that's it's a subject for you. I mean, that's why you brought it up. So
I think about it from time to time. I'm like, you know what? Like, when I pass there, how are people going to remember me? Yeah. Like, am I just gonna fade away?
Fun
like
uncle.
the sands of
this
time?
right here. This right here.
Yeah.
This podcast,
That way,
not
okay.
necessarily
Forever enshrined on YouTube.
He was that podcast guy. Nothing else I did. Nothing about anything I did in real estate. Just he had a podcast.
Yeah.
Gee, I hope to God.
We'll
that's
find
not
your
gonna
legacy, Max.
You think so?
Yeah.
Find your legacy.
He's that guy I saw walk out of the gym with a broken nose.
Yeah, that did happen. That's a true story. These things happen.
He's
man.
come in here pretty banged up.
I have. We get a lot of episodes with sunglasses on. Not just because my future shines so bright. Obviously it does, but usually because my eyes are swollen shut or my nose is twisted. But you know, like you said, just get it done. That's part of fighting. Get the shit
that's
done.
That's my like hashtag. I go on everything. Get it done. And it was like people like get it done. They're like sarcastic back to me. Yeah, get it fucking done, man.
Isn't there a comedian?
What are you gonna do? I mean, are you gonna tell?
Yeah.
Get her done.
Get her done.
Wasn't there a comedian guy that had something similar to that?
I think yeah, that was like early
Get her
2000s.
done.
What's his name? Jeff? Was it Jeff? Something. They had that whole. There was a group of them.
Yeah.
It's gonna bug me.
Well, everybody has their, you know, they post their Denzel Washington comments, or this comment or that comment. I got
Denzel Washington comments. I mean,
you know,
I love Denzel. I love Denzel. But yeah, like the quotes from movies. Yeah.
From you know,
Remember the Titans or something.
Said this, and you know, like Queen Elizabeth said that, and you know, and
Denzel
everybody has something to say from somebody. It's
That was
like, you
pretty
know.
good.
What about you?
Yeah.
What do you have to say? I don't want to. I'll read their book.
I'll listen to their book. What I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Max doesn't read.
I try
I'm
to.
just kidding.
It's much easier to just close your eyes and just listen to the words, as opposed to like.
One thing, and raise my kids that I didn't really bring this up. I have an interracial family.
Yeah.
So I'm Nicaraguan and Irish. My ex-wife is Black and Asian. My kids are Heinz 57. So they had that as a parent.
Heinz 57.
Yeah, Heinz tomato sauce.
You ever had it yet?
Yeah, that's funny too.
Pretty good analogy.
Like, that is hilarious. Yeah.
So
My son's a good mix too, but that's
so
an
it's just,
impressive mix.
I had to go through those emotions more with my daughters. I think identity issues and all that, and things. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, how am I gonna deal with this? I mean, that's like trial by error stuff, and just like going through those emotions as a father, going and I'm trying to understand what they're going through.
Yeah.
With our day and age and how everybody's,
Yeah.
Society's trying to segregate itself instead of just,
Yeah.
The lack for a better term, we can all get along kind of thing. But
Right.
It's like it's just part of life. I always tell my kids,
There's gonna be good. There's gonna be bad.
just get it done. Just get it done, right? Just on 10 a day. No one's gonna care. I tell my
I'm just picturing like one of his kids coming up to him asking for some serious advice and just like,
I just get
get
shit
it
done.
done.
Dude. Just
Yeah.
get shit done.
I mean,
I got time for this.
it's a really easy, quick thing to say, right?
yeah.
That's true.
You like get those burpees at the gym. Just
Hate
get it
those
done.
burpees.
Stop complaining about
This
it.
is true. Well, shit, man. Well,
Yeah.
I think we're nearing our time here. I don't know if people are still listening to us after 3 hours of just chaoticness, but I think
Yeah.
we've had some questionable episodes, but this one I think had a lot of heartfelt information. And I know, for our listeners out there, we are generally real estate centered, but we like mixing it up and we like bringing in people and hearing their perspective on just life. That you definitely gave me a lot of things to think about as I go down the road of life, whatever way it takes me. And I'm sure Brandon got some tidbits out of there as well. He's a tremendous father. His kid is absolutely amazing, and he's been doing it on his own, and he's still alive. So that gives me hope that I can do
Still
it.
kicking.
If you can do it, I can do it.
Could be
you know?
grayer.
So yeah, Jeff. I mean, really appreciate you coming on, man. We look forward to watching you get through life and just continue to grow, man. This is wild.
Yeah. I liked it. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Appreciate the invite.
Yeah.
I mean, we can
Hell
sit
yeah.
here all day and talk about a bunch
Probably.
of stuff. So, I mean, plenty of other subjects, but again, thanks for the invite. Welcome
have to
come
have you back,
You guys
dude.
want me? Let's actually this one up.
Bring you back. Maybe you can bring in one of your 17 different kids from all walks of life.
Yeah.
Like, get here, does this, does that. I'd love to see this beatbox and move.
Yeah, we can
around.
come in and discuss your
wild.
dating life and get you on the path to legacy, Max.
Dude, that's like going to be a whole thing of episodes. So it's not just one episode.
I'm probably going to get 100 texts right now, man.
Yeah, that's why my phone's flipped over.
He's all subscribe.
Subscribe. Ding, 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 ding. Oh, all right, cool.
Mark.